Okay, so now we have our Second Life skeleton here in Blender, and we're going to try to rig something to it. Now, one of the basic things to rig to a Second Life skeleton is obviously clothes. So then I'm going to have to show you how to make clothes first, because I'm not just going to have a t-shirt here and then get your hopes up like, oh, how did I make that t-shirt, and then not show you how to make that t-shirt. So I'm going to show you how to make the t-shirt, and then we're going to rig it to the skeleton. There are two ways, well, at least there are multiple ways to get clothes into Second Life or clothes into Blender. You can either make them in Blender yourself, or you can use an external program like Marvelous Designer to make clothes. I am a big fan of Marvelous Designer for clothes making. So, and that was really how I did my videos. I would just have the clothes made at Marvelous Designer and import it in. And then there were people who wanted to know how to make clothes using Blender, and not Marvelous Designer because they don't like it. So this video is just going to show you how to make a t-shirt in Marvelous Designer. Not Marvelous Designer, in Blender. And then, we're going to go on to the next video where we go and rig such t-shirt. So first thing we're going to need to do is go over down here to a new layer. Whoops. And I'm going to go to layer 2. And I'm going to press Shift and then A. And this will bring up the Add menu. And I'm going to pick Mesh, and then from the list I'm going to select a cube. You can pick any one from the menu if you want to, but I think a cube works the best when it comes to making basic clothes. So this cube is huge. If we were to hold down Shift and select the first layer down here, you'll see it totally absorbs our Second Life avatar. So we're going to need to scale it down. So we're going to click on our cube, and then we're going to press the S key. And then you just move the mouse in and it will make the box smaller. Now I'm going to hold down Shift again and then select the layer so we can see just how small it's gotten. So this is how it was originally, and with the Second Life avatar here, see, totally swallows it. You click on the box, press S, and then you can just move it in and you'll see that it scales down. So to make a t-shirt, this is the method that I know. I know there are other methods where you would just use like a tube and then shrink wrap it onto the avatar, but I never got around to learning that one because once I learned the boxing, this method, that's kind of what stuck. So if you see anybody else show you how to do it where they just use shrink wrapping and things like that, by all means go ahead and use that method. My method is just my method. Okay, so what I like to do is first I like to cut the cube in half. So what I'm going to do is, let's go back to the first cube layer, and I'm going to press Tab, and that's going to send us into edit mode. You can also select edit mode from down here on the tab, the toolbar, but I find that just pressing Tab is a lot easier. Then I'm going to press Control and then R, and hold my mouse cursor at the center of the top of the cube. If you do it right, you'll see that what's this called? A purple square will outline the cube, and then you're able to slide it around any way you want. I like to just press escape, and I'm just going to click it so that it's right in the middle. And this has just cut our added a new loop cut. I'm all over the place. When you do that, it's called loop cutting. And what I just did was I added a loop cut all over this cube. So it's practically split in half. So what I want to do is work on this side, and I want to delete this side of the cube. So what I'm going to do is press Face Select, and I'm going to select everything over here on the left, which is 3D right. And I'm just selecting all the faces by clicking. And this side is totally selected. So when I have all of this selected, I'm just going to press delete, and then I'm going to select faces. Now we have one half of a cube. Now that we have one half of a cube, we're going to hold down Shift. We're going to go into object mode again, hold down Shift and select the Second Life layer, and we're going to bring the cube up to the avatar's neck about so far. Then we're going to go over to the side panel over here, and we're going to select modifiers, and we're going to enable the mirror modifier. And now we have a solid cube again, except for this time, I'll show you the magic of that in a minute. First thing we're going to do is make sure that this box right here for clipping is checked. If we don't check that, if say we move our box here, so we go into edit mode, because that's where mirror mode really shines. So we're here in mirror, and I'm going to select the side, and we move our box apart. As you see, it moves as if it was in two pieces. Now, if we were to press Ctrl Z and go back, press clipping before we move it. When you move it, you see that it all functions as one, and that's what we want to do. Working on this as a mirrored object, because it's a lot faster that way when you do it. So now that we have our stuff all mirrored, we're going to press Control and then R again, and this will create another loop cut. We're going to put it about where we want the collar to neck, like right here on our neck. So this is where part of the shirt is at. And then we're going to press Control R again, and then we're going to put another loop cut right underneath the underarm, like so. Oops. I guess it'll work if you had your camera turned so you can actually see where the underarm is. And press Control R again, and then right under here. And then we're going to press another Control R and make another loop cut right here, just behind the arm, and then another loop cut again in front of the arm. This is going to make our sleeve. So now we have the basic of making a shirt. And what I should have done before I did all these loop cuts was select the face when it was just one. But because we have all these extra faces here, it's going to be more clicking. So we're going to click at the bottom where it says face select, and it's just a picture of a box with a face. And we're going to select all these bottom faces and just get rid of them. This is going to be the opening of our shirt. So we got that faces, and you see now we have a hole. Now we're going to do the same thing up here at the top of our square, our cube, and make a neck opening for the shirt. Neat, huh? Alright, now we're going to start manipulating this cube and make it look like a shirt. So next thing, we're going to switch over from face select to edge select. And I want to say you want to press Alt, hold down Alt, and click on the edge, and it'll select all the edges in this loop. And we're just going to drag the shirt down a bit. Now, some people say you can just extrude it, and by extruding, you can just press E, and you press it down. But sometimes it's a little hard to control when you're like E, and then E, and E, and you'll see that you may start to taper. Now, if you want a consistent extruding, like you would press E, and then Z, and that'll allow you to extrude straight down on the Z axis. So EZ, so on and so forth. And you can do the same thing with the other axis as well. So you can press E and Y, and it'll let you extrude on the Y, and then E and ZX, and it lets you extrude on the X axis. But we don't want that. We want E and R. We want E and Z, and then you can extrude down. Alright, so now we have this. Let's start modeling it and making it look like a t-shirt. We're going to select the face select and then delete this one right here to make the arm slot for a shirt. Arm slot. And then I'm going to switch back over to edge select, hold down Alt, click the loops, and I'm going to press E, and we're going to the EX. Yeah, I did it right. And that's going to make our sleeve. So you can see where it's going. It's just not there yet. We can add more loop cuts or stuff if we want to. And remember, Control R, and then add one here, and then maybe Control R and add one here as well. And I'm going to select these, and then press G, and that's the grab, and it allows you to move. We could just use the modifier, manipulator, and just slide this in and out if you want. Just make sure you grab all the edges. It kind of reminds me of that cardboard Gundam cosplay that was popular back in the day. You can also, with the loops, edges select, you can press S and scale it in and out if you want. I'm going to try to get the t-shirt to cover right here where the chest is at. And pull this down some more. You may want to push all of this in. Now another tool we can use right now that'll help us out is the proportional edit. You're going to need to get to know the proportional editing tool because it will be your best friend when it comes to modifying stuff here in Blender. So what I'm going to do is click this little box down here. It's like a gray circle with a little circle inside of it, and it's at the present it says disable, and we're going to click on it and then switch it to enable. And before you click on anything, before you start grabbing and manipulating, you're going to first grab an edge, click on an edge, and then you're going to press G, and then you're going to slowly roll your mouse wheel in, and this is the proportional edit. If we were to just press G and start grabbing things, it may move the whole garment, and that's not good. The reason why it behaves that way is because the field of influence is so large. This little circle here is the field of influence. The bigger it is, the more it has control over the geometry of your stuff. The smaller it is, the less control and more focused it is. There's more settings when it comes to the proportional editing tool, but for right now, all we need to worry about is enable, and we'll talk about those in probably a later video. Or you could play around with it and see what works with you, whichever comes first. So I bet you're wondering, alright, Zero, this isn't really looking like a t-shirt. When is it going to get all t-shirty, huh? Well, patience, Grasshopper. We're almost there. We're just shaping the cube, giving it a rough shape of the t-shirt. This makes things a lot easier later on when we go on to the next step. I never knew Ruth had so much butt. Dang. So, just gonna pull this in to try to match the curves. And we have a general shape of the, what's it called? T-shirt. Oh, something I forgot to tell you. When you do mirroring, only one side is actually real. Now, I'm just wondering, like, what do you mean? I see two sides of this square, this garment. Well, this side, and you can't select this side. This side is the only thing Blender actually sees as being real. A program is manipulating everything in real time on this side. So this part isn't exactly editable until you hit apply, and then it works. We can't hit apply in edit mode, so we would have to just apply. Now we can edit on both sides, but because we're still modeling, we're going to want to keep that modifier. Whoops, I didn't go and broke us. We want to keep that modifier on and just work on one side. Just thought I'd throw that in there because I forgot to say that in the beginning. Alright, so let's pull this in and then grab that, grab this, and hit G, and roll it in. I'm sure somebody's laughing at it like, man, all these extra steps and turning and stuff. Gotta have this done in seconds. Well, excuse me, person. I'm not very good at Blender modeling. I'm used to marvelously modeling. Anyway, so now we got the very, very rough shape of a t-shirt. We're going to go to the next step, and that is adding another modifier. This time we're going to add the Subdivision surface one, or subsurf mod. And that gives us a little more geometry and definition to work with. So I'm going to turn this to like 2, maybe 3. Alright, so this is way too many for a t-shirt, but 2 is fine. And as you see, it's got a little bit smoother. Now, we still have, according to Blender, this original boxy topology that's right here. This is what Blender thinks is actually happening, and what we see is actually a simulation of what would happen if we were to apply that modifier. So, remember that old Blender 2 thing where it was like, make real? Well, yeah, you'll have to make it real if you want to have all that extra geometry to click on. Some people find it a lot easier to work on their garments or whatever when it's still simplified, but still got that new, what's that thing's called? While it has a new look but simple layout, it's easier to grab and manipulate. But if you need those extra grab points, it sometimes helps to just exit edit mode and hit apply, and then you got all this extra geometry to manipulate. It's weird that it did that, don't you think? Whoops, I pressed solidify. We don't want that. So, maybe one more. Alright, so I'm going to move this up and make it first. I always wanted to play with that and see what happened. I'm like, yes, but how do you get it to not tear? Nah, well, we'll fix it manually. Let's just grab this and... Oh, I broke my t-shirt. Let's try something. Nope, it still tears a little. I never was able to figure that out. I'm sorry, guys. So forgive me. But we'll figure it. It'll fix it later, but I'm sorry that it broke in the first place. Like I said, I'm so used to Marvelous Designer. I'm not used to making t-shirts in Blender. But I figure I at least show you somewhat of how it's done. Oh, I'm being told that the reason it tore is because it was 2 parts. So I have to make it solid first. Okay, so make it real first. And then add the subdivision surface onto it. Like so. And then it won't tear. Thank you. So let's go back in edit mode. And we're going to tie this blocky thing. I'm going to make it smooth. So I'm going to object mode and then smooth. So now it looks more like a t-shirt. So let's get that artistic stuff in here. Because it's still kind of boxy. And I'm going to apply the subsurf modifier. I need that extra grab points. Still is pretty boxy, yeah? Okay, so what we're going to do is get all artistic on it. Though, you know, we have a basic t-shirt, but we can get artistic on it and make it a little more decent. So I'm going to pull this over here, like so. And here, like so. So we can get artistic on it and better fit it and make it a little prettier. We're going to switch over from edit mode and go into object mode. Click on our shirt. And we're going to go into sculpt mode. And this is where you really have fun. So you just grab it and you pull it in. You can change the symmetry on here if you want to. You can turn it off, and it moves on one side, or this one, and then it moves on both sides. So it's up to you. So basically, just grab it and do all the work. Have fun. Pulling it in, pulling it out. Using smooth and smoothing out some of those hard edges. Same with the back. I'm going to use grab real quick and pull this out. And pull this down. And pull that out. Somewhere along the way it got crooked, which is like totally everything that's me. Every time I work on something, it always comes out crooked. I have no eye for symmetry. Thank goodness for symmetrical things. Alright then. Get some roundness here and roundness right there. And that's, for the most part, in a nutshell, how you would go about making a basic t-shirt. You always want to keep the front of the shirt kind of flat or smooth. I like the, well, you would want to so I can transfer graphics onto it, but I've never seen a straight and flat t-shirt in real life, so I like to poke it with the grab a bit, and it makes it look like it's all t-shirty and fabricy, fake fur for fake fold thingies. And suppose right here over the shoulder, that over the shoulder, like so. There, twist it up. I like to push it up and then pull it out to give it some fake folds. But then always in the end, I always go over it and smooth it out to the point where it's gone. So, yeah. So that's how you make a basic t-shirt. Sorry it took so long. I'm sure a professional will be able to do this in like 5 seconds flat. But I'm not a professional. I'm just a zero. So that's how you make a basic t-shirt. Now, how you texture a t-shirt, that's another can of worms itself. It goes with UV mapping and stuff like that. And I've never mastered UV mapping ever. So that's pretty much it right now for how to make a basic t-shirt in Second Life. For Second Life. I mean, we can smooth this out because that's gross. Smooth. And then pull it up. There we go. Much better. Oh wait, I feel like there should be some more. Yep. That's why I was looking gross. I had all that extra skin there. Mesh there. Okay, now that looks a lot better now, doesn't it? And I'm sure somebody would say that is way too many faces and triangles for a t-shirt. And they're probably right. It is. We can reduce it. We can go over to decimate and just turn it down a little bit. And this will release, like, whoa, that's it? Not even a lot of faces. Alright, so we can reduce the faces a bit using decimate. Turn it by half or so. And if the face looks terrible, just smooth it back out. Turn the stroke up and then smooth it back up. It would also help if you selected the shirt first, then try to smooth it back out. I'm all like, yeah, smooth it. So yeah, there we go. I think it should be like a drinking game. Every time I say so, yeah, party. Alright. And that is how you turn a cube into a t-shirt. And now it's all ready for rigging. We'll talk about texturing later. But for right now, rejoice. You just made a t-shirt out of a cube. Isn't that amazing? Alright, so I'll just go on to the next video, and that talks about rigging. But we can show you also how to make a t-shirt in Marvelous Designer. And I'll tell you, it's a lot faster than this. So I'll see you over in either the next video, whichever one that'll be. But regardless, we'll be on this battlefield together. See you later.